Hello Form 2s, my name is Safreen and I will be your tutor this term for mathematics. I hope you enjoy this video. This is the first lesson and today we will be going through expressions. What are the objectives of this lesson? So by the end of this video you should be able to expand expressions with brackets and collect like terms. Factorize expressions by taking out common factors with two or more variables, and factorize expressions by taking out like terms with squared variables. So what exactly is an algebraic expression? It's composed of variables, operations, coefficients, constants, and terms. So let's circle all the variables. Let's highlight all the variables. So the variables are all of the things that we don't know. They can vary, hence the name variables. They can change. So this would be x, just gonna underline them, x and y, because x and y are terms or they're things that we don't know what exactly they are. Then we have operations. Operations are, in this expression, plus and plus. But other examples of operations are minus or subtract, multiply or times, and divide, right? Then you have your constants. This is a number that will stay the same always. That's what a constant is. And in this expression, it's the number 2, right? Coefficients. Coefficients are the numbers in front of your variables. So here, your coefficients are 5 and 3. And then we have our terms, right? So one term, the first term in this expression is 5x. This is term 1. The second term is 3y. That's term 2. And the last term is 2. So those are all of the components of an algebraic expression. Moving on to the next slide. So here are some examples of expansion, right? How do you expand brackets? So you're basically going to multiply everything in this bracket by this bracket, okay? So x times x equals x squared, right? Then x times 2 is plus 2x, right? Now 3 times x is plus 3x, and 3 times 2 is plus 6. So if we simplify this, it becomes x squared plus 5x plus 6. If you need to pause, you can do so now, and you can try and do this one by yourself. Okay, so the next one, number 2. Y squared is going to be the first one, right? So y times y is y squared, right? Y times 1 is plus 1y, and 1y we just write it as y, right? Minus 5 times y, that is minus 5y, and minus 5 times 1 is minus 5. right? If you simplify that, it becomes y squared plus 1y minus 5y becomes minus 4y, right? And then we just have minus 5 over here, minus 5. So the final answer, y minus 5 times y plus 1 becomes y squared minus 4y minus 5. Let's move on to some more examples. Here we have all letters, right? So let's use the color. X plus a times x plus b, right? X times x is x squared, right? X times b plus xb. A times x is plus ax, right? And a times b is plus ab. We can actually simplify this part over here. This part should become, by taking out x from here, it should become x times b plus a. So that means if that the coefficient of x in the expansion of x plus a times x plus b is b plus a, right? So your final answer becomes x squared plus b plus a x plus ab, right? So for the next one, number 4, your x is your x, right? Your a is 2y and your b is y. I don't know if that makes sense, but okay, let's do it and then it will click. Okay, so here we have x times y, that becomes xy. X times minus x is minus x squared. Never forget the sign in front of your variables. So x times y, we've done that, that's xy. X times minus x is minus x squared. 2y times y becomes plus 2y squared. And 2y times x becomes plus 2y times minus x. Two y times minus x becomes minus 2xy, right? Again, we can simplify this and this, right? So it becomes 2y squared minus x squared, right? And here we can take out, actually this is 1xy, right? 1xy minus 2xy becomes negative xy, right? And yeah, that's your final answer. 2y squared minus x squared minus xy. This is another expansion. Let's use green. So x times y is xy. x times 3z is plus 3xz, and x times minus 2 is minus 2x. It really doesn't matter the order of the terms and the order of the variables within the terms. So this is the same thing. These three lines mean the same as. So xy plus 3xz minus 2x is the same as 3zx plus yx minus 2x. It's the same thing. The order does not matter. More expansion. Okay, so this does not equal to x squared plus 2 squared. Never make that mistake. Every time you see brackets and a squared, I advise you to write it out fully. So this becomes x plus 2 times x plus 2, right? And this is then equal to x times x, x squared, x plus 2, x times 2 is plus 2x, 2 times x plus 2x, and 2 times 2 is plus 4. So overall, your final answer should be x squared, 2x plus 2x is 4x, so plus 4x and plus 4, right? Another example, y minus 3 squared. Once again, this is not y squared minus 3 squared. It's not this, right? So you write it out fully. Y minus 3 times y minus 3, and this is equals to y squared, y times y minus 3, y times minus 3 is what? Minus 3y. Another minus 3 times y, minus 3y. And minus 3 times minus 3 becomes plus 9. Why does it become plus 9? Because the negatives cancel out. When you multiply two negatives together, it becomes a positive. So your final answer is going to be y squared minus 3 is minus 6y plus 9. Okay, before we move on to factorizing, you can take a break. If you need to go back into the video and just take a moment to process everything, you can do that now. Okay, let's talk about factorizing. So with factorizing, you need to take out all of the like terms, right? And this includes numbers, actual coefficients, and your variables. So here, let's start with the variables, right? What variable is in each and every single term? It's x, right? There's an x in 10xy minus 5x plus 20zx, right? So we know the first thing we're taking out is x, right? Then another pattern, the thing about factorizing is you're just looking for patterns, right? So another thing you can see that all of these terms have in common is that they are all multiples of 5, right? So 10 is 5 times 2, right? Minus 5 is 5 times negative 1. and 20 is 5 times 4, right? So we can take 5 out also, right? So now, what do you multiply 5x by to get 10xy, right? So 5 times 2 is 10, right? So we put 2 here. And what's missing? Y. So 5x times 2y is equals to 10xy, right? For the next one, 5x times what will give you negative 5x? 5x times minus 1, right? 5x times minus 1 is negative 5x. Okay, and now for the last term, 20zx. What do you have to multiply 5x by to give you 20zx? You have to multiply 5x by plus 4z, right? So 5x times 2y is 10xy. 5x times minus 1 is negative 5x. And 5x times 4z is 20zx, right? Let's use the method we were using earlier by drawing the lines. 5x times 2y, we're going to expand it just to see if it will give us the answer, the question, right? To see if it's correct, right? 5x times 2y is 10xy. 5x times minus 1 minus 5x. And 5x plus 4z is plus 20zx. That's how you know you've factorized correctly. Okay, this is a similar example. 3z minus 6zy plus zx. Here we have z in the first term, z in the second term, and z in the last term. The coefficients, for the coefficients, there's 3 in this one, 6 in this one, but there's no coefficient for the last term, right? That means that we can't take any factors of 3 or 6 out. The only factor is 1, and 1 we don't usually write it out, right? So it becomes, we take z out, right? What do you need to multiply z by to get 3? 3z. You just need to multiply it by 3, right? Z times 3 is 3z. To get negative 6zy, you multiply z by negative 6y. And to get zx, you multiply z by just x, right? Let's try expanding it to see if we'll get back to this equation, this expression. Z times 3 is 3z. Z times negative 6y is negative 6zy. And z times x is plus zx. This one is a little bit more difficult, right? You are going to find a lot of these, especially in your in later years. This is something you'll see a lot of, right? So people use different methods, but I use the product and sum method. So here we have x squared minus 8. Sorry, that's supposed to say minus 8x plus 12, right? And we need to factorize this. So we need to find two numbers that when you multiply them together, they give you 12. So the product of these two numbers equals 12. And the sum of these two numbers must equal negative 8, right? Sum is negative 8. So what two numbers can you think of that will give you a product of 12 and a sum of negative 8? Let's go through the factors of 12. You have 1 and 12, right? If you add 1 and 12 together, they will not give you negative 8. You have 2 and 6. If you multiply 2 times 6, it will give you positive 12. But we need 2 plus 6 will give you a positive 8. We don't want positive 8, we want negative 8, right? We want negative 8. If you make both of those a negative 2 and a negative 6, you will still get a positive 12 when you multiply them together, and you'll get negative 8 when you add the two numbers together. So your numbers, your factors are negative 2 and negative 6, right? So how you write it out is x minus 2x minus 6x plus 12, right? And then from here, we factorize even further, right? So you take x out of this one, you basically split the equation into two parts, right? So this part and this part. So x times 1 minus, sorry, it's supposed to be x squared. So it becomes x times x minus 2, right? And then this one becomes, here the common factor is negative 6, right? Negative 6 times x minus 2. So negative 6 times x is negative 6x, and negative 6 times negative 2, that's plus 12. So here we take this and this, the x and the negative 6, and it becomes x minus 6 and x minus 2. You disregard the first x minus 2 because it's the same thing, right? So let's expand this to see if it will get us back to this, right? So you have x times x is x squared, right? X times minus 2 is minus 2x. Minus 6 times x is minus 6x. And minus 6 times minus 2 is plus 12. Once again, when you multiply two negatives together, you get positive, right? So that means your final answer would be x squared minus 8x plus 12, which is what we have here at the beginning. That's how you know your answer is correct. Another example, which is also similar, right? So we need to find two numbers with the product of negative 4, but their sum must be plus 3. What I'm thinking of, let's think of the factors of 4, right? Or rather negative 4. So you have 1 and 4, right? Plus 4 minus 1 will give you 3. right? So your two numbers are 4 and -1. So you say y minus 1 and y plus 4. To check, once again, to check if your answer is correct, your factorizing is correct, you expand it again. So y times y is y squared, y times plus 4 is plus 4y, minus 1 times y is minus y, minus 1 times 4 is minus 4. Y squared, this equals y squared plus 4 minus 1 is plus 3y, and this is just minus 4. And this is now the same as this. Okay, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it helped. If you have any questions, you can post them on the Google Classroom and I will address them for next week's video.